Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to another Planet FPL Clash of the Correspondents. Delayed by a day, but we've got there in the end. We're going to be looking forward to the weekend game between Watford and Manchester United. Firstly, let me introduce you to our Watford correspondent, Stephen Toumi. How are you, Stephen?
I'm not really looking forward to this weekend, but football-wise, but I'm doing well, James. Thanks.
Good man. We'll talk about the football. And our Manchester United correspondent, Gary Robinson's in the house. How are you, Gary?
I'm good, thank you. How are you two?
I'm fine, thank you, mate.
Good.
Yeah, not too bad. I don't know. To be fair, Stephen, I don't know if Gary's looking forward to anything at the moment either, but we'll get onto that and talk about it. Stephen, we must touch with you were right. Cisco Munoz didn't last very long, did he?
He did not. It's what they do. I mean, I don't think Dilly Ding Dong's going to last the season. He's probably the best available out there, but I just don't see Ranieri lasting. And it doesn't help that we have a horrible run here through mid-December. So,
well, he's walking into Manchester United home, Leicester away, Chelsea at home, Man City at home. So, yeah, we're not going to delve too much into your fantasy assets for the immediate, but I think you've got a really interesting run from Gameweek 16, actually, which is when I intend to wildcard. So I've actually got you kind of top of my agenda in my thoughts at the moment. Ranieri not lasting, is that based on what you've seen so far, or just what the owners are like and they'll just pull the trigger?
Yeah, I think it's just based on what the Pozos do. I mean, we saw it last year. We've seen it the year before. They run it as a business. They don't run it as a football club. I mean, you get a decent manager who has a good run for a period of time. And as we've done in the past, October rolls around and what do we have? I think we have one win in October, as a 5-2 victory over Everton and, a bunch of 1-0 losses. But I don't know who they go to. I mean, he's got the track record.
Steve, I think Gary, we'll get there, mate. I think Gary's going to try and sell you Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Stephen, which you never know. Might be the level that he's managed at in the Championship in 12 months' time. You never know. What have you made of Ranieri, though, Stephen? Like, dislike?
I liked him when he was at Leicester. I don't know if he was exactly the right fit for Watford. I mean, it's great to bring a big name in. Don't get me wrong. I like having Ranieri there. He continues to tinker as he usually does with the lineup. I don't think he started, the same formation in any of the games so far. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to settle in, but are the Pozos going to give him that time?
Do you think if you lost all 4 of these games that they could sack him?
He's gone.
Do you really think that's a possibility?
I do. Yeah, I do. I would not put it past him.
It's such a shame, though, because I almost say it in jest and say, yeah, I'd same as you, like Watford will probably change the manager again before the end of the season. The reality is, though, as it stands, you're on target. It's 17th, which if you finish there at the end of the season, I know it's not ambition at the moment, but you take
I'll be happy.
Exactly.
Hell yes.
So,
but he's better than a 17th place manager, though. And we've got talent that tells us we're better than a 17th place team, I think. Maybe not much, but I do think we're better than a 17th place team right now.
I want to talk about some of that talent in a bit, but I can see Gary's edging away, mate. Right, come on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where you at, mate? Well, I think we all know where you're at already. Even those who don't know you on Twitter know where you're at, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion's never changed since the first time I came on here. The summer we appointed him, or the summer after that first winter he had. And there's nothing this season, obviously, that's changed that opinion. If anything, it's reinforced it. So I don't think some of it's his fault. I don't think the recruitment's worked yet, because it seems to have been, they've just gone for the big names again, and you can't fault the ambition of getting those players, but spending 2 years to track Sancho and get that deal over the line and get that done, to then not play him because we suddenly decided we wanted Ronaldo, has become a bit of a mess, really. It's not Ronaldo's fault, and I don't think it's all Solskjaer's fault, but it's not working. And Solskjaer, look, it feels like Solskjaer, most of the players have given up on him. Not as a person, they all seem to quite like him, but the noises are that they've realised he's not going to get them much better than they are now. And it seems like the board have given up on him, but trying to wait till the summer, which is the complete opposite as to what Stephen's just been saying. And it's crazy that if they know they don't want him, and I can't believe that any club in the Premier of any stature doesn't know who they want next. And I can't believe a club like Manchester United, who could probably get every manager out there apart from
Antonio Conte.
The five or six sort of elite ones who are already in jobs. I can't believe that they don't know. They don't think there's anyone else out there, and I find that astonishing. And I'm sure if you ask Man City's owners now or Liverpool's owners, if Guardiola hands his notice in tomorrow, do you know who your next manager will be? And they would probably be able to give you two names that they'd be able to go and get by this weekend. I find it astonishing that Man United think, well, we probably don't want Solskjaer, but there's no one out there that we want. And the amount of managers we've let slide over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, Conte, like you've just mentioned, Pochettino, there's Allegri, there's loads of them, so I just find it mad, really. And yeah, sounds like it's going to just drag on till the summer now, which is not fair on anyone.
He's going to get sacked in the summer. Is that where it's at? Almost irrespective at this stage.
Well, that seems to be the noises coming out that they know that time's up. But I mean, to that end, I mean, what happens if we're not obviously? I think the league position, the best we'll get now is 4th, but we can still win the Champions League. There's been worse sets of players. If you get a favourable draw and you fluke a win away in Madrid or whatever, and you beat Munich on penalties or whatever, what are they going to do then?
You only have to look at the change in Chelsea.
Precisely,
what happened when Tuchel went in there.
And they went and got an elite manager. So and this season's not done for us. I mean, and if they'd acted 2 or 3 weeks ago before we dropped more points to City, the season definitely wasn't done. And we probably only need one result in the Champions League, and then we're in the knockouts. And once you get yourselves in the knockouts, look at the teams who've got themselves to finals. I mean, you've been to a final, James, in the last, whenever that was, 2-3 years ago. You don't have to be a top side. You just need a bit of luck and a good run of the draw. And
what are you trying to say, that we weren't a top side with Mr. Sissoko?
No, I mean, you were probably just
Watford's Mr. Sissoko.
Yeah, you were probably just at the end of being a top side. But you had that
mad game Watford's Danny Rose. By the way.
Yeah. But you had that mad game at the Etihad, didn't you? You had the mad game in Amsterdam.
Good nights then, though, mate.
Yeah, I bet they were. Yeah, but you don't even need to play well, do you? You can get yourself in, especially in the Champions League. You get these how often does it happen to Man City, where they're the best team in the country?
It's a cup competition, isn't it?
Yeah, and and I bet the Man City fans thinking every season they have a mad 20 minutes in the Champions League and they're out because so we can win the Champions League still in theory. So what are they going to do if he wins the Champions League? Say, well, actually, we want Brendan Rodgers, who's just finished 8th with Leicester. It's not. If they want to do it, they need to do it because
I don't think under how it is at the moment you can win the Champions League, mate.
No, I don't. But in theory,
of course.
Or what happens if we win the FA Cup and finish 4th? Is he going to get sacked then? It's.
Well, that was what Van Gaal achieved, wasn't it? 4th. Did he finish 4th when he won the FA Cup?
Yeah, I think he finished 5th the season we won the FA Cup and 4th in his other season, didn't he? From memory, I think. Yeah,
I think he would have gone even if you'd finished.
Didn't he?
He would have gone even if you'd have finished 4th and won the cup that year, I think, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
in fairness,
he would have done.
Way.
Yeah.
Do you think if you got beat at Watford on Saturday, do you think the noise would be too big? Do you think he would maybe even walk away himself, Solskjaer?
He won't walk away. He won't walk away from that job. Because he knows that this is it for him. If he walks away from that, he'll never get a top job again, will he? So I don't think he'll walk away from it. And as for getting beat by Watford and the noise being too big, I mean, we got absolutely mullered by Liverpool at home and the noise wasn't too big. We were even worse against Man City and the noise wasn't too big. So, the time for him to have gone was after the Liverpool game or after, 2 weeks at the start of this international break. So, I mean, I don't think so. I think even if we got beat this weekend, I think they'd say, well, we beat Villarreal and Young Boys, or he probably only needs to beat one of them, knockout stage of the Champions League.
I think he'll go through.
Yeah, so, and we still, I suppose, given the run of fixtures we've got until February-ish, top four still well within our grasp. So I don't think they'll sack him this season now.
Is there any way that he can come back from this? Because we have been at points before with Solskjaer. I don't think to this extreme, but we have been at points before where it's been like, oh, if he doesn't win the next couple of games, he's going to be in trouble. And every time he has been, United have gone on a run. Now, this time, that doesn't appear like it's going to be the case. And obviously, with respect to Watford, the games you're mentioning, Liverpool, Man City, they're your two biggest games. But you could argue that could be a very credible Champions League final, for example, right?
Yeah.
If you go and lose 2-3-0 at Watford, I think we're possibly talking a different game suddenly, mate.
Maybe.
And they've got the players to hurt you on the counter attack.
They have, yeah. I don't think it'll go. And I think the worry I've got about this run of fixtures, which looks good on paper, but the games we've struggled the last few seasons has been Old Trafford against the sort of 7th to 20th best teams in the country. We've got, how many of them have we got now? But, that's all we've got for the next 3 months now. So if that home form doesn't pick up, but the chance to sack him has gone, I think, realistically. And who are they going to get now? Because all the people on shortlist seem to be in a job. So I think they'd be very reluctant to have a caretaker in charge.
I'm not even going to ask you who you want, because I suspect, Gary, that the next time we speak, which I think is going to be in January, I think we'll probably be having the same conversation. I'm afraid. Stephen, what's your thoughts on United, and do you go into this weekend looking at their troubles and think they're beatable?
I think you have to. I think you look in past performances. I mean, they're few and far between, but we put in a good performance against Liverpool, beat them 2-0 a couple years back. Even Man City to a degree, we played well for a half, and then the floodgates opened in the second 45. And, Watford led, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 goals. I don't know how many at this point, but I know we have the personnel to beat them. I think even with their troubles, I still think it's going to be Man U dominating. I do. I just don't see any way we can come out on top, especially with the way we've played in the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, granted, we had to win that Everton game in the last, 70th minute on to score 3 goals or something like that. But I think you don't put their problems into perspective. I think that just doesn't come into play with whoever the manager is. I think you go out on the pitch, the 22 they play, but I just don't see any way that we can come out on top. Even as Gary says, they have all these issues with Ole, but it's going to be a tough ask on this weekend.
Okay. I do want to touch on some of your FPL assets. We know none of them are getting bought now, Stephen, unless, I guess, if you were on wildcard, we'd probably still go Ben Foster as the backup goalkeeper.
I've run with Foster and Bachmann all year. I mean, I knew Bachmann was going to be relegated at some point. Now he's a little unhappy with his current position because he feels he should be starting like he is for Austria. But like I said earlier this year, I never see him as a Premier League goalie. He doesn't have the experience. I don't think he's good enough. Foster, yes, we know he's getting old, but Foster right now is the only one that I would consider looking at. And for this run, I mean, that's even out, but I'm not going to make a change and waste a transfer on a goalkeeper. So
no, that answers the next question. That's fair enough. I get that. If you're not in a position to want to change it, then don't change it, mate. We're not going to talk about the defensive guys because I think everybody would have Foster, the defensive players.
Yeah, exactly.
Your lack of. But honestly, that run, Stephen, from game week 16, Brentford away, Burnley away, Palace at home, Wolves away, West Ham at home, Tottenham at home, Newcastle away, Norwich at home. He's a really good 8 game weeks. You're shaking your head.
There's some tricky games in there.
But which ones, mate? West Ham?
I think Brentford's a tricky game. I think Brentford has done very well this year. they've surprised me. I didn't think their defense would be as good as they are. Even Wolves. I know Wolves have lost a little bit, but Wolves still scare me. Palace scares me this year. I mean, Gallagher is coming and really sort of lit a fire in that team. I like watching him, but I don't think it's as straightforward as the schedule shows. Just my thoughts.
No, I think what happens with a schedule like that is you end up breaking into the individual ones and go, right, Brentford away, do I fancy you to win? No. Burnley away, do I fancy you to win? No. But it is a sustained period where you can certainly take a punt on a Ismaila Sarr or Josh King.
Yes, you could. Or even Dennis. I mean, you could throw Emmanuel Dennis up there. I mean, either any one of those three, depending on what you have left for.
Have you used your first wildcard, Stephen?
No, I haven't.
Do you have a plan for it? Because I reckon Gameweek 16 treble Watford is the way forward, mate.
Nope, this year I have no plan. I'm going at it a completely different angle, not caring. When I don't do that, it seems like I score much better. But I've been looking probably somewhere around mid-December as considering a wild card. But right now, no.
Have you used yours, Gary?
Yeah, I used it in week 5 or 6. Can't remember now.
What would you say, Stephen, to people comparing like Josh King to say Chris Wood over that period at similar sort of price? And you're saying Dennis as well.
I think it's a viable comparison. I mean, we know what Josh King can do. I mean, we've seen it in the past when he was at Bournemouth. He's got the skill. He's got the talent. It's just a matter of, is he going to get the playing time? I mean, what sort of a formation are we going to see from Ranieri? Are we going to be playing 2 in the middle, or are we going to be playing 3 across the front? So I think it really depends on, the team we play and how Ranieri approaches it. I mean, I think, for the price, you can't go wrong with him or Dennis as a third. But again, I mean, their goal output it's concerning.
Do you think Dennis would keep his place?
I think he will, just because of what he's done earlier in the season. But I mean, that still doesn't leave me with that warm, fuzzy feeling that I'm going to run out and pick up Dennis.
I would be very nervous at him. The price is attractive at 5.2 if he's going to play, but then Josh King, I almost know is going to play, and he's 5.6, right. And I feel like I'd rather pay the extra. Would you have a preference for that run, Stephen, between King and Sarr? If I said, do you know what, Stephen, have one for the 8 weeks, would you have a preference?
I would have to stick with Sarr. If I could fit him in my formation, I'd much rather take Sarr. I think he's arguably the best asset we have. He's got the speed. We know what he can do down the flank. He can beat a defender. He can beat some of the top defenders. So I would still sort of push Sarr as opposed to King or Dennis.
Yeah, that would be my instinct. If anybody bar Foster had any Watford players right now, what would your advice be?
If you had any, minus Foster,
like if you're sitting there with Sarr still, if someone asked me on my stream yesterday, I've still got Sarr, what shall I do? And I said sell.
I'd sell him. Yeah, I wouldn't hold him through this run, but again, you never know. He may get a couple of goals, but no, I would still sell him and wait for the fixtures to relax and go back and wild card or try to get him back in if you think he's gonna perform better than I think the entire team will over this next 5-game period.
Gary, any Watford players at the moment?
Just Ben Foster on my bench most weeks.
Who's your other keeper?
Meslier, but I'm going to sell him this weekend for Guaita, I think.
Oh, interesting. Very off topic. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
you do know Leeds are playing a team that hasn't had a shot on target for a month, don't you?
I know, but I think I'm going to captain Kane this weekend. So
wow.
Yeah, and I'd planned on. Kane's been my captain since he's been my bus captain since we last had a game, so I've not reacted to that nonsense in midweek. But yes, I think that just seems like perfect timing to not have my captain playing against my goalkeeper, given Leeds' ongoing lack of clean sheets.
I'm not.
I might not do it. I might roll. But anyway,
I'm not going to talk you out of captain Kane. If you were sitting there with Ronaldo, would he be getting the armband? Stephen is nodding for the benefit of the audio listeners.
Yes.
I mean, possibly. I don't think you can say he's obviously a good option, but his returns have been quite inconsistent so far. I think he's blanked 5 out of 8. I think. And
shit player, sell him, right?
No. And two of those blanks were 1-pointers as well. Now, obviously, some of them were Liverpool, City, Leicester, etc. So, but I mean, so I don't think I think if you've got Ronaldo and you're not captaining against Watford, then you've probably got to question why you've got Ronaldo in your team, probably.
But because of Salah, do you have to do it at the moment? It's kind of the point. Like, if Ronaldo does well, you're still winning, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess it depends what your rank is and what your aims are and what kind of player you are, really. Because the idea to me that you've got a captain Salah every week just seems as viable as it might be, and given his form. But we can't just captain Salah blindly all season, can we? We're going to have to pick our moments, and if you're not going to, he's playing an Arsenal team who are decent defensively, I would say. Not great, but they are decent.
I'll put that in the intro.
Yeah, but if you're not going to captain Ronaldo against Watford, when are you going to captain him? And to that point, and if you don't own Ronaldo, because I was looking at the start of Ronaldo's good run of fixtures in 15-16, you can argue that Salah's a better captain for the first.
It's so true.
For the first few of them, because I was thinking, if I'm not going to captain Ronaldo, if I was going to go to Salah, is there any point buying Ronaldo? Do you put the money elsewhere? But I think it depends what your rank is and what your style is really as a manager, and how prepared you are to go against Salah. I mean, I owned Salah but didn't captain him when in the 5-0, and that dropped my rank from 24,000 to about 300,000. So
the irony of that run you have, and you're quite right to highlight it, which depending on your view is either starts as a really good run in 14, 15 or 16. It certainly starts from 16. You can make the case 14, 15 with home games, respectively, Arsenal, Palace. But you are right, Gary, to say like in 16, Ronaldo has Norwich away. Salah's got Villa at home. Then there's Brentford away for Ronaldo. Salah's got Newcastle at home.
Yeah.
You look at the week after, Salah goes to Tottenham and Ronaldo's got Brighton at home, which is one of your tougher fixtures of this long run you have. The following week, you go to Newcastle. Bingo. Oh, shite. Salah's got Leeds at home as well.
Yeah,
so ironically, it could go all the way until you play Burnley in game week 20. And he might be rotated for that fixture because it falls within the kind of congested schedule.
And I think at some point as well, I know Spurs have got a good little run now, and then it goes out. But back around Boxing Day, you might be looking back to Kane and Son for you. I can't remember the exact date, you'll know. But there's a spell where Kane and Son might be back on your radar for captains again. And if you've already got Kane for this run and you've already got Salah, which I think all of us have, I was starting to think yesterday, planning ahead, thinking, do I actually need or want Ronaldo? But I suspect the temptation will be too much when we get there. But we'll have to see. Yeah,
look, I'm wildcarding the game you play Norwich. Yeah. So, and the run, which has been spoken about quite a lot, it's phenomenal. I mean, it literally goes right up to the next time you play Watford, basically game week 27. Then you go to the Etihad in game week 28. It is an amazing run all the way, arguably from game week 14 up to game week 27. I'm wildcarding in 16, Gary.
Yeah.
I've got to get 3 United, haven't I?
I don't think so. I don't think you've got to.
Luke Shaw's the best defensive one, isn't he? Come on.
If you want someone who's got less points than Shimicast, then I guess so. Wherever he is now.
2.3 points per game so far this season, Luke Shaw. I just looked.
Yeah, well, that's about right, I would have thought.
It's actually less than Lindelof.
So no, I mean, I don't think you can go for a defensive asset at the minute. If you were desperate to go for one, I think you've got to go De Gea because he's the cheapest we've got, and you might get the save points and all the rest of it. I don't think you can go the defensive guys, especially given that most of us will want Cancelo, Trent, Livramento, a Rudiger or a James. what we're going to buy Harry Maguire all of a sudden now? So I can't see that.
Luke Shaw's 5.2. By the time I do it, he might be 5.1. Surely that's viable, Gary.
Instead of who, James? Who are you going to sell to buy him?
That's matter wildcarding, so it doesn't matter.
No, but who? All right, and who aren't you going to have?
But it could be like there's a lot of people going say Reguilon or Emerson Royal now. So by the time it comes around, that could be like a straight switch for people.
Well, I mean, you know better than I do, but I don't understand why people are going for Spurs defenders. We all want 2 City probably. We all want Trent. Livramento's an obvious one. You want a couple of Chelsea if you can. Luke Shaw, I just don't. Well, I can't. I say it every podcast, but I cannot understand for the life of me the obsession with Luke Shaw as a fantasy asset. It's I just don't get it.
It has been an obsession. It's unbelievable to think, what was he, 60% owned nearly going into game week 1? Seems incredible. But I think it can go so far down in value, and with that run of fixtures, that it becomes viable, mate. If I said to you, I've got to have 3 United players from that period of 16, pick 3 for me. You're saying De Gea, I think, is the defensive one, which I'd be nervous about from a rotation perspective over that period.
Yeah, if you were desperate to have 3, I would go Ronaldo, Bruno, Rashford, and go all out on that attack and see if we get a run like we had 2-3 Christmases ago, where it was
Pogba, Martial, Rashford. That's exactly what I did a few years when Solskjaer took over,
and all that chaos. And because then you don't have to sell. I know you're on a wild card, but just in general, you don't have to go without the Cancelos, the Trents, etc. You don't have to worry about that defense, which is been awful this season. It's been awful most of this calendar year. And that'd be an unbelievable differential, wouldn't it? If you had Bruno, Ronaldo, and Rashford, and like you said about Ronaldo, likely to miss, he's going to miss some of that run. You might cover yourself off there with I think similar to what you've been mentioning in Sky as well. You know, if you don't have Ronaldo, if you only go for Ronaldo in that run, and he misses Norwich away and Burnley at home or whatever it is, you know. And you're captaining him, you'll be kicking yourself. Whereas if you've got Bruno and a Rashford, and you probably
feel like you've got the coverage.
Yeah, and you might be once it gets there, you'll probably be able to guess where the rest coming, won't you? If you know Ronaldo's played 4 in 10 days, and we've got Brighton, or however it falls, you probably know where the rest's going to come, don't you? Fernandes probably won't get rested. I wouldn't have thought.
He'll be a better asset over that period, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, his returns have suffered since Ronaldo came, so you
say that. I just think points per game. Fernandes is 4.7, Ronaldo's 4.8.
Yeah, but what was Fernandes?
Well, it's a hat trick against Leeds game week 1, obviously.
Yeah, but what was he last season? He must
have
been his first season and a half. He must have been averaging 6-7 a week.
I think it's about 7. It was one point. Him and Lingard were joint on 7. I think.
Yeah. So he's had 18 months of averaging 7 points a match. Started this season a 20-pointer and a 1-pointer maybe against Southampton, and since then I think it's been 1 goal and 3 assists, is it, or something like that?
Absolutely spot on. 1 goal, 3 assists since the opening day. It's piss poor, isn't it?
Well, it's for what's he now, 11-7-ish, something like that. So yeah, so if you had to have 3, they'd be the 3. But I mean, I don't think you have to, unless something, unless things pick up in the next week, in the next 2 weeks or something, and it looks like that we've returned to some sort of form. I don't think you have to go 3, especially if you don't think you're going to captain Ronaldo, then you can probably go without him.
Stephen, you were nodding at the captain Ronaldo idea. Do you own him?
I do.
Are you going to captain him this week?
He's my captain this week.
I take it you own Salah as well.
I do. And up until this week, it's been Salah every week for me. Just like it was Salah all last year.
What's the decision process for you in doing that? Is it just a
who they're playing? Just knowing we have a shit defense, and I think it's going to be 4 or 5-0. I honestly do.
You lot are putting way too much faith in Arsenal. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so you're gonna back against your team. I take it then you're holding Ronaldo through for the next few weeks, are you, Stephen?
Oh, he's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Any thoughts on any other United assets?
I think I picked up Wan-Bissaka this week. I had Chilwell and James, and I decided to get rid of Chilwell just based on recent performance. And, I know we've talked about, double Chelsea, double City. I've got one of each right now, and I just looked at that run coming up for United and figured they're going to have to get some clean sheets in there.
That's how I feel about it as well.
And we know that, Wan-Bissaka is, again, another one of those attacking type defenders, and it's hard to ignore it. Not that he's done a whole lot, but I don't have any Liverpool defenders in there. I just didn't want to pay the price for that. So just based off fixture. So I'm hoping to pick up a third, as Gary's talking about, maybe Bruno here when that run starts. But I do like the attacking three, so maybe I'll reconsider when we get a little closer.
And Gary, just finally before we close, what's the impact on Varane at the moment? How long is he likely out, and what have you made of him so far?
I think he's been good. I think we've won every match he's played. I think there might be a draw in there. I think he's been good. I don't think he's been outstanding yet, but I think a lot of that is due to the rest of the team. But the impact he seems to have on everyone else, it seems to make everything a bit calmer. I think he's been good for Maguire, because I don't think Maguire is quite the leader that he thinks he is. And I think, so I think he's been good. I think they're talking about a month, weren't they? But given it was an injury on the back of an injury, you don't know if that's made it worse. And given the congested fixtures, it's even if it is a month, he might be missing 6-7 fixtures there. So yeah, a shame.
Yeah, only 2 clean sheets in the 6 games that he's played. He did start when you lost to Villa, but the 3 games he's missed,
right,
11 goals conceded.
Yeah,
Liverpool, Leicester, and Man City. And to be honest, it could have been more across those 3 games.
The
11 goals. So his return will be a big boost for that run you've got. Let's touch wood, hope for your sake, Gary, that he's not going to be injury prone. Okay, guys, really enjoyed that. Thanks so much. Before we let you go, let's do predictions for the game then. Correct score, Stephen?
3-0 United.
3-0. Gary?
2-2.
I don't know how to fill the silence for the audio, Gary. 2-2. Why? Go on. You got to elaborate on that, mate.
I just think we're not equipped to stop teams scoring at the minute, and I don't think our record at Watford's great historically over the last few times we've been there. I don't think all's well at the camp. I don't think we're going to have a few. We just mentioned Varane. I just think it's got 2-2 written all over it. I think. Do you
think he'll play a back 4 or back 3?
I think he'll play a back 4. I think.
Yeah, so do I.
I think the back 5 experiment works when we've got Varane. I think the idea of playing Maguire, Bailey, and Lindelof is laughable. We can't get we've already got too many forwards anyway. So the idea that you play a back 5 to exclude even more of them. And I think the City game should kill the idea of a back 5. So I think he'll go to a 4 and try and get on the front foot for this run of fixtures, but we shall see.
I don't think this is the gimme that most people think that it is. And I think you've kind of nailed the thinking there a little bit, Gary, and sort of confirming my fears that for you, without Varane, there has to be major concern about you conceding goals. I am going to go 2-1 to United. I wouldn't be surprised if you drop points this weekend, Gary. Because I think that stylistically, Stephen, with the players you have, United, Gary covered it, United have a real problem with kind of teams who sit in and stuff. I think it's Ranieri's strength. And in the likes of Sarr, Dennis, King, the sort of players who really damage United on the break if you get it right, I think. So I'm going to say 2-1 United, but not with a huge amount of confidence. Guys, really enjoyed that. Thanks so much. Stephen, where can everyone follow you on Twitter, my friend?
6 goal. That's where I'm at. 6 TH goal.
Good man.
When
and
I'm-
Gary.
Yeah.
That is my cat playing.
Blinding stuff. Thanks so much for your time, guys. Next week's Clash of the Correspondents, guys, is Arsenal versus Newcastle with 3-5 Who and FPL Footballer. My deadline stream will be on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. UK time on YouTube. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope your arrows are green, and cue music, please, man child.